everyone. Welcome to Mission to Inspire. My name is Shola, and I've got a wonderful guest here with me today. His name is Philip Blackett. Hi, Philip. How are you?
Hey, Shola, how are you? It's good to be here with you.
It is a pleasure to have you on our show today. I'd rather leave it to you to do a proper introduction of yourself. So, can you introduce yourself, Philip? Who are you? Where are you from? Anything you want to tell us about you?
Sure. So my name is Philip. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, United States. Talking to you now from Boston.
Right.
And basically, the long story short of my 39 years or so of living is, yeah, Southerner at heart. Love all things barbecue, sweet tea, Southern home cooking involved. Went to school in North Carolina, Chapel Hill, majored political science and economics. Went up to New York City afterwards, worked on Wall Street, worked in corporate America for a little bit. Some entrepreneur endeavors in the middle of a few things here and there.
Mhm.
Later went to school, back to school for business at
Right.
Harvard, and
Mhm.
then did some more work. I got married the day after my graduation from business school,
Right.
and now have two twin daughters that are 7 years old that I'm fathering over and raising with my wife. And later went to school one more time in between running a business during the pandemic, where
Oh,
I got my master's of divinity degree from the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary.
okay.
And so at this point, as I approach my 40th year here on this earth, I'm trying to see how I can have a better impact around the people around me, whether it's through some of the books I've written this year, or ways I can speak life into people now, including shows like these, or being able to help out businesses be able to grow with the likes of AI, that's now becoming more of a mainstream technology and that sort. So that's about the long story short on me thus far. Appreciate the opportunity to share with you.
Oh my God, that is great. Did you say you went to a seminary?
I did.
Right. So, what did you study?
So I studied theology. I got my master's of divinity in with a concentration on Great Commission studies.
Right. Okay. Wow. What a journey. What a journey. So your journey actually has seen you move from significant corporate giants like FedEx, yeah,
Yep.
Goldman Sachs, and Chick-Fil-A. How did these experiences shape your approach to combining your faith and business?
So I think the big thing is one, learning from other type of companies of those likes as far as like what culture is
Mhm,
and how you want to be a part of that, while at the same time, how can you have a influence in that as well.
mhm.
um so I think that I look at business as akin to like a mission field. You don't have to necessarily go to a country outside of where you're at to have an impact on people for God. With regards to your faith, you oftentimes can be a quote unquote missionary in the places where you work. And so I think that, part of that experience is one, getting a sense of what the culture is like at some of these places I've worked, and then seeing opportunities where little by little, person by person, day at a time, you can be able to share with people, get to know them better, allow them to see how you live your life, and be able to minister to people as needed, as led by by the Spirit here.
Right. Okay. Wow. Can you share a moment from your time at Harvard Business School that significantly influenced your mission to grow God's people? Because business school, I don't know, but business school is like you see different people, it's dynamic, the kind of people that come there. So for you to influence people, especially with your faith. I don't know how it is for you, but it might be tough, it might not be. Can you share your experience with us?
Yeah, so I think whether it's Harvard Business School or the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, I think either one of those have been instrumental for me to know how I can embark on a mission to grow God's people, grow God's businesses, and grow God's kingdom. And I think in particular, I'll use the seminary, for example, to answer your question.
Right.
Um, I think a big part of it was just seeing my teachers that were really into the word of God, and were passionate about it. They
Mhm.
saw an opportunity to really minister that to us so we can spread that to others.
Yeah.
And their dedication to living faithfully by that word was instrumental for me to say, hey, listen, what do I want my mission to be?
Wow.
Where does God want me to go in terms of having a positive influence and a positive impact on all those who I encounter,
Mm.
and make the best out of what God has entrusted me with? And
Yeah.
so I think that that sort of dedication set by example from my teachers were really instrumental in helping me understand that I can have a similar impact where God wants me to be next.
Right. Where God wants you to be next. Wow. You have a very rich background anyway. When I was reading your profile, I could see that you have a rich background, particularly in political science and economics, um, from the University of North California. How has this academic background influenced your entrepreneurial ventures and consulting work?
So, when I was a freshman at University of North Carolina, basically a friend of mine or a mentor told me that if you learn how political science and economics work in tandem, you
Mhm.
would better understand how a country works. And so that was influential for me, because when it comes to entrepreneur ventures and consulting work that I do now, it's
Mhm.
the thought of understanding you're understanding the setting and the atmosphere you're working under,
Wow.
right? So you're really kind of surveying what the background of the situation you're in,
Mhm.
who are the power players, how are we doing economically last year versus this year, where are we trying to go next year, um, how are the relationship dynamics in play in that particular business. And
Mm.
so I think a number of things come to play here, where I think it's very helpful having a combination of political science, economics, and I would include also business and theology, that has a more unique perspective
Right.
to helping out entrepreneur ventures and in my consulting work in particular.
Right. That's kind of interesting. So basically, throughout your life, you're using your life experience basically, and what the knowledge that you've gained. That's what you're using right now to influence people.
Right.
Wow, that's wisdom.
Absolutely.
Your initiative, Dream Business Makeovers, powered by AI. Yeah, that's your initiative.
Hmm.
Okay. How do you integrate the cutting edge technology with your faith-driven mission to help business grow?
So I think part of it is really recognizing, you know, the type of things that are at our disposal now, and almost like akin to one of my favorite biblical parables, which is the parable of the talents, where, essentially what you've been given, you will
Yes.
have to be able to account for it later. And so I think what we've been given with regards to cutting edge technology,
Mhm.
like artificial intelligence, is
Yeah.
one where basically the question becomes, is not what is it necessarily that's most important. What's more important is what is it in relation to what you've been given the task to do? Like, how can you use this to help grow your business?
Mhm.
And more so the case where for those who do use it, who do invest in it, who do learn about it, to apply it, they make the best use out of it. They're more likely to get better results from those who ignore it, from
Mhm.
those who think it's a threat, who
Mhm.
those um, who don't take the time to learn it and adapt and adopt it. And so I think that's really what comes off there, and especially with the faith-driven mission,
Mm.
a lot of it's based off of thinking in terms of being a good steward of what you've been given. And oftentimes more will be given to you if you take care of the few that you have.
Right.
And of the few, if you don't take good care of it and you don't grow it, that which you have already may be taken from you and given to somebody else who properly will steward it better. And so it's helping those businesses being good and faithful stewards of what's been given to them and what they have access to,
Mhm.
so they can continue to be fruitful
Yeah,
rather than otherwise.
that's true. That's true. That parable is really true. And it's true to human beings everywhere, whatever fate. We need
Mm-hmm.
our talent all the time. But a lot of people just think they are born with that talent, which is true. You're born with a talent, but then we need to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. So, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs out there who are looking to align their business ambition with their personal values and faith? Because it's difficult, actually, to be honest. Especially in this world where we are, it's quite difficult because a lot of people have a faith, they're Christians, but then in the business world, they meet different people and they don't know how to integrate their faith into business.
So I think one way to look at this is a story that I remember a famous actor, Sidney Poitier, once said. And to paraphrase, he talked about how there were two men that were taking a walk
Okay.
outside. And what happened when he noticed these same two men walking is that as one person is walking ahead of
Mm-hmm.
the other person is trying to catch up with that person.
Right.
Or if the other person walks at a faster rate, the other one's trying to catch up either at the same time. So the lesson that came out of that is one way or the other person is trying to stay in lockstep with the other. Someone's setting the pace and the other one's catching up.
Mm-hmm.
And the takeaway of that story is, whose pace are you trying to catch up to? Meaning, in this question that you asked, we may be tempted to catch up to the pace of businesses we work with because they're setting the tone. And
Yes.
that might be appropriate for now as you're just getting started. At the same time, I think over time, when you've proven yourself, when you've done great work, added a lot of value, and you've started to gain a lot of um, credibility and respect,
Mhm.
and people that are wanting to hear more about what you have to say,
Yeah.
there become opportunities where you now can help set the pace where people are catching up to you. It's
Right.
almost in a sense that makes me think of the story behind Joseph in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in the pits to the palace,
Yeah.
there was a point in time where no one was really listening to him. He later gained authority, and then people were listening to him. And then, he's lied upon, and then he went to prison, and
Mm-hmm.
then he still kept doing the right work. And at a point in time, there was Pharaoh trying to understand what was going on with his country and with these dreams that he had, and what to do about this upcoming famine. That Joseph was able to come into second in command because what he had to say, given by God, was helpful for them to rule the nation in a way to help the people. So, in my own attempt to try to make that a parallel to what you're asking for, one, never discount small beginnings, and two, continue doing the good work you're doing. That over time, whether you expect it or not, when you stir up the gifts you have and make the best use of what you've been given, it can open up doors for you to basically showcase that out to other people of higher stature, higher standing, higher areas of responsibility, that can then open up the stage for you to be able to share not only how well you can do the job or share or showcase your expertise, but also the mission behind it, also what drives you, also what inspires you to do the type of work you do, which oftentimes could be your faith.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming on our show today. I know that you're an author. Do you want to tell us one of the books that you've written?
Sure. So one of the books that I've written and may be more applicable to people that are in business, whether as a business owner or entrepreneur, is a book called The Unfair Advantage:
Uh,
How Small Business Owners Can Use Artificial Intelligence to Boost Sales, outsmart the competition, and
right.
build their dream businesses without breaking the bank.
Okay. Wow.
And
Do you have a
so,
copy of that there?
say it again.
Have a copy of the book with you?
Um, so it's behind me as far as one of them and that sort of, but it is listed on Amazon that people can look at. They can see the cover of it, the description, that sort. But along with some of my other books. So the best way to do it is to go on Amazon and look up my name, Philip Blackett, and you'll be able to see that book, The Unfair Advantage, along with other books I've written that I share for people as well.
Okay. And how can they contact you or connect with you if they want to?
Sure, if you like, not only going on Amazon and look at me up there, but you can go to my website, philipblackett.com, PhilipBlackett
All
dot com. Also have a business website called Dream Business Makeover.com. And then you
right.
could also look me up on social media. Just look up my name, Philip Blackett, on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube.
Right. Okay. Okay. So before we go, just need to know one thing. I know you're an author, a professional coach, a visionary founder of Ice Pack Change. You're a professional coach, coaching business, right? Is
Yep. So more so from the consulting part, but yeah, do coaching on this as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's more of consulting than coaching, or you do
Mm,
both?
More consulting, but yeah, coaching can be included too.
Right. Okay. 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 Right. Okay. I was just trying to clarify that for people who might want to contact you for one thing or the other that they might need you to help them with. So you do coaching and you do consulting as well. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much for coming on our show today. Is there anything else that you would like to speak about today?
No, I think this is great. I had a good conversation with you, Shola. Hope that everyone's gotten a good sense of what we're about and how we can help, and maybe gain some insights and lessons that they can apply in their everyday lives. So definitely thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
Okay, right. So, you were featured in Business Insider and all those other magazines, Entrepreneurial Magazine, Forbes, lots of them I can see. And you've been a voice in both the business and faith community. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Sure, I'll tell you a little bit more about what in particular.
Can you tell us a little bit more? Now, I know that you've already shared how your faith and the value of the business that you do, how they integrate. But how did this shape you as a person?
Yeah, so I think part of it is, you really look at business not as something separate from what you do and who you are. It's a part of it where, you want to bring your whole person to business, because it's not so much just about, making transactions happen, but you can also see it where you can change lives in the process. And so thinking about that from that framework, as far as like this is part of your mission field,
Yeah.
you tend to look at it beyond just a paycheck, beyond just sales and profit, but also in terms of, souls won, or, people change for the better, or helping them heal from certain instances of, bad events that have happened to them, or help them, move on to a different direction altogether that might be more beneficial to them than the direction they were on before.
Right. Okay. So I get what you're saying, but then for the benefit of our audience, I'd just like to ask, have you always been a Christian since when you were young?
Yeah, since I was young, when I was baptized around 9 years old, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it was just easy for you then to integrate that into your business life.
Yeah, because that was a big part of that was and is a big part of who I am. And so, really wanting to do my best in business, it meant for me to be more authentic to who I am, and for me to take my faith with me,
Right.
as opposed to leaving that behind,
Mhm.
which is kind of weird because it almost seems like you're leaving God out of it. And I just feel like my life up to this point wouldn't be the same if God wasn't a part of it. So why would I take that God out of it if I was going to go into a business career?
Thank you for sharing that. And the reason why I asked is because a lot of people, especially Christians, young Christians, who want to go into the business world, some of them sometimes find it difficult because maybe, they're not able to profound their faith in the business environment or in the work environment, and they find it very difficult to integrate that. So sharing your experience and talking about how you did it would help people and allow them to aspire to be maybe like you, but then not leaving their faith behind. They're taking that with them because they could see someone who's done it and that person is successful and is still doing it.
Right. I understand.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on our show again. Thank you. And until next,
Absolutely.
thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe if you haven't done so. Like, follow, comment. Until next time. Goodbye.